Hello. So we are running a little bit behind today because Facebook moved everything around again and I couldn't find the live button. So, yay, I'm here. I didn't think I was actually going to be able to do this. I thought I was going to have to get out my phone. So I hope everybody is having a great week this week. It's May. It looks like we're expecting a snowstorm and killer bees and all kinds of other plagues. So it's a really exciting time to be alive right now, right? I hope you guys are getting tons and tons of great stuff for your books because what is better than getting things from your life as you're living it and actually being able to use this fun, actionable content that we are coming up with, as we fly by the seat of our pants. So, yeah. So today's topic is theme versus plot. And this is something that just kind of popped into my head the other day that we haven't talked about because this is something that you usually think about when you're talking about fiction. You might be going back to your high school English classes, your college English classes, thinking about when you read something and your teacher, your professor was talking about the plot of the story or the themes of the story and what the difference is. So I wanted to give you guys kind of a refresher on the theme and plot and tell you why this is so important for you for your business book because you might not think that, okay, a business book has a plot. It doesn't really have a plot like a story does, but it does have movement. It progresses from one thing to the next. If you're writing your book using, especially using the Spark method, which is what I teach, if you're using that, then yes, you absolutely have some consistent movement through the book that makes sense, whether it is a chronological movement or stepwise movement from the beginning to the end. So your reader knows where they're going, what they're doing, and has a pretty clear roadmap. So there is somewhat of a plot. So let me pop up my notes here. And if you have questions while I'm talking, go ahead and pop them in the comments and I'll try to get to them as we are moving through what I'm talking about. Okay. So first off, just brief definitions on these. So the theme of your story, of your book, whatever it is the subject or the topic. The theme is the kind of overarching idea of what you're talking about, right? And the plot is the main story. So those are the differences between theme and plot. So the plot is everything that is actually happening, and the theme is the idea that kind of sits on top of what that action is. So the theme of the story is going to be usually the writer's message about life. That's going to be in either fiction or nonfiction. You'll find this in basically any book that you read. There are overarching themes, and typically when you're reading a storybook, you're thinking more about the plot because that's what's drawing you in, but you're getting the writer's idea about what they want people to think, how they want people to view life, how they want to change. You like if you're looking at Harry Potter, for example, I've been reading that to my daughter. If you're looking at that, there are themes about equality and inequality when they're talking about like the wizards and the mudbloods or the muggles when they're talking about different classes of people. They're talking about inequality when they're talking about the wizards versus like the house elves and how they treat them. They're talking about inequality and inequity and how we treat other people, other races, other beings, all of that kind of stuff. So that is one theme. And then the very obvious theme is that it's a coming of age series. So you pick up with Harry when he's like 11, and then you move all the way through the story until he's, well, I think he turns 18, like either at the beginning or the end of the last book. I don't remember. So it's a coming of age theme. It's talking about a person's development as they're coming into their own and becoming who they are. You'll see that kind of theme in nonfiction as well. So if you're working on your book for your audience and you want to show people how you have grown, you can do a like coming of age kind of theme for coming into your own. It's not going to be that coming of age sort of thing. It's going to be more coming into your own, how you've developed as an adult, how you've developed as a mother, how you've developed as a business owner. Those are going to be the kind of themes you're working with here. There are tons and tons and tons of themes. I could list them all day. You've got love and hate and, relationships and, maturing and all these other things, overarching themes, the big things that you want people to take away from your book. Those are going to be what your themes are. For people like us who are writing business books, the theme is the most important piece because that's what's selling your book. That's what's connecting with your audience. That's what you're focusing on for the back copy. You're not focusing as much on the plot. If you're trying to sell fiction, then the back copy is going to tell a little bit about theme and a little more about plot because the plot is what's attracting people. For us, mostly theme because you want to reach somebody who has a very specific problem because you're helping them with that challenge. The theme of your book is the solution to that challenge or the overarching idea about that challenge. So, you'll probably find lots of different books with the same themes, but it's what's involved in the book, the story in the book. The person writing the book has a different story. All of that kind of stuff is going to be different. You will find tons of themes that are personal development, coming of age, spiritual awakening. I've seen a lot of those. I actually work with a lot of people on those. So you'll find a lot of those kind of themes, but the stories are all different. That's key as well. Because the theme is going to draw people. Ooh, I want to read a book about how my storytelling, brand story is going to help with my marketing. That's a theme. Brand story and marketing. That's a theme for your book. Authenticity in brand story. Let's go with that. So if that's kind of what you're looking for, that's a theme. And then the plot is going to be more what the person is putting into the book to take you along that route. So think of the plot as the roadmap. Okay. So another really good example of this that probably a lot of people have either seen the movie or read the book. I've seen the movie. I have not had a chance to read it yet, but I have read other, I've read Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, but we're going to talk about Eat, Pray, Love because it's a very good story. It has a good plot, but it is also a personal development story. So just as another example, aside from Harry Potter, which is a fun, good example. So if you're looking at self-discovery, loving yourself for who you are. Hey, London.
This is an assignment.
London is sharing an assignment with us. This is the sun. Oh, not on camera. There, sunshine. That's really nice.
It was an assignment.
We are homeschooling right now because we're in the middle of the quarantine. So London's in first grade and she's doing her homework at home.
What drink is this? I forgot.
This is a fizz stick.
Oh, take it.
Yeah, it's okay. Thank you for sharing. All right, I'll see you in a few minutes. So as I was saying, we're talking about self-discovery. We're talking about loving yourself for who you are, being happy, embracing life, all of those kind of things in the book, Eat, Pray, Love. If you've seen the movie, which is more what I'm familiar with because as you see, I have small children who like to interrupt my books. Those are the kind of things that, that you are getting the overall picture of in the movie. So it's been a while since I've seen it, but I believe she visits 3 different places. I want to say it was Italy, India, and another place, might be Paris. So she visits 3 different places. You go to Italy to eat, you go to India to pray, and you go to, I want to say Paris, to fall in love. So those are things that, as she's moving through this story, you're getting her, her travels. It's a travel narrative, but it's also a coming of age, coming into yourself sort of story. So as she is moving from place to place, which is the plot, linear plot, linear movement, chronological movement. So you're getting that moving from place to place. Then her overarching theme is going to be, you know, as I was saying, the self-discovery, loving yourself for who you are, being happy, embracing life, getting back to basics, getting back to yourself, all of those kind of things. That's all embedded in this travel narrative. And you may have a very similar story, although, you know, maybe you're not traveling around the world, maybe you don't have like 3 great plot points like that, but you can easily set up a book that's very similar to that. Breaking it into 3 sections, just like Eat, Pray, Love, and saying, all right, you know, this first section, this is what I was discovering. Second section, this is what I was discovering. And the third section, this is what I was discovering. And I put them all together, and that gives me who I am today. That would be a very simple, easy way to do it. And the overarching theme for yours would be, you know, the self-discovery, growing into yourself, coming into your own, all of those kind of things. Becoming the woman I am today. Phrase it however you like, but those are going to be your themes. So, you know, your book, because you're a business owner, is going to focus mostly on that theme. The plot is what's going to make people keep coming to this book. The plot is going to be the attractor. You know, that the theme is that overarching theme, the problem that you're solving. But then that plot is what's going to make it really unique, and it's what's going to get people to read your book. So, you know, whenever you're looking at your book, look at it that way. Look at what the themes are, because that theme is going to be something that's going to be part of that hook. You know, when you're doing like the back copy or when you're doing your marketing for it, and you can pull out really interesting points of that plot. You know, as you're going through, what is the plot? What is really super interesting about it that I can bring into that back copy? Because you have to combine that theme and the plot to be able to really reach your audience and say, I'm unique. I've got a way to solve your problem. This is something that is transformational. Those are your keys. So, you know, what is it that you've been working on? If you're watching the replay, you know, comment and give me a hashtag replay. What are you working on? What are your themes? What is it that you're solving with your book? How is it that you're reaching your audience? You don't have to have your whole book done to be able to know this stuff either. You know, as I'm working on, like when I was working on the Spark method, I was looking at that and saying, all right, I am transforming people from, you know, a speaker into a leader. That's one of the things that I'm solving. People want to be seen as a leader. They want to be known in their industry. They want to be up here, you know, while everybody else is down here, and they want to be noticed. So those are some of the overarching themes. Leadership. We'll just say leadership because I'm tired. We've been homeschooling and I'm tired, and I'll just be honest about that. So let's go with leadership as the theme. I'm doing leadership as my theme, but my plot is more based on how I travel through a book, how I travel through that writing process. What is my writing journey? Those are the things I talk about in the plot. So it's a little bit different when we're doing nonfiction, right? Fiction is pretty straightforward. Nonfiction, not quite as straightforward, especially if you're doing something that is less of a story and more educational, but, you know, always throw in the story because that makes it wonderful. So it's a little bit different because, you know, you want to solve your audience's challenges and you want to make sure that they understand that you're the person to come to. So, like I said, you know, drop it in the comments. I'd love to talk with you about your theme. I'd love to talk about how you're reaching your audience, and make sure that you put that in the back copy because you want everybody to know how awesome you are. So I'm going to wrap it up, and yeah, I hope everybody has a great rest of the day and a great rest of the week, and you get lots of good sleep and don't get too much snow or bees or whatever. And yeah, have a good one.